Hello and welcome to another exclusive good e-reader video. This is Nick.
And this is Marcus. In today's video, we're going to compare two of the best kids devices on the market that are more tailored towards reading and interactive gaming. On the left we have the V.Tech V-Reader, and on the right we have the Fisher-Price IXL. Now, obviously you can see how the Fisher-Price IXL dwarfs the V.Tech V-Reader, and the V.Tech does come in blue as well, so you're not obligated to get the pink one. That's just the one that we have. So let's take a look at just some of the specs that really differ. The screen on the V.Tech is 4.3 inches, while the screen on the Fisher-Price is 3.5. Resolution's basically both the same. They both run on 4 AA batteries. And they both pretty well do the same thing. They both do gaming. You can listen to music, look at pictures. You can do art as well as have books read to you, or you can actually read along with the book. The big things that make these different from each other is that the V.Tech uses cartridges for the books. So you can see that we have a cartridge in there right now called What's That Noise? And so it makes it a little bit easier to buy the games and actually just throw the cartridge right in there. Whereas with the Fisher-Price IXL, you're actually buying CDs, and then through the software that the Fisher-Price comes with, you have to install this to your computer and then use sort of a file manager type program to be able to copy media to your device. So that's one of sort of the advantages that the Fisher-Price has over the V.Tech, is that you can very easily load in your own pictures and load in your own media, and it has a nice program that's very easy to use as a parent. I don't know if your kid will be able to manage that, but kids these days are more tech savvier at a younger age. Hardware, they both have a lot of the same features. You have your DC adapter, and whereas the Fisher-Price IXL does not have one. So again, they both run on 4 AAAs, but you can actually double A's, and you both have the headphone jacks. So you can see that the batteries on the back go in here, whereas with the Fisher-Price IXL you actually have to use a screwdriver in order to put the batteries there. So it's easier to make the Fisher-Price kid locked, whereas with this it's pretty easy. Just take this off, and the kids might monkey around in there. And you can see one of the advantages that the Fisher-Price has is that it has a stylus, and it's actually tethered down, so your kid's not easily going to be able to lose this. Whereas with the V.Tech, it's how easy is this to lose when you're a kid? Very, very easy. And V.Tech doesn't actually, to my knowledge, sell these separately, so you might want to hang on to this. Let's just take a look and just compare sort of side by side what your sort of average ebook looks like. So you can see that they're sort of both interactive. We sort of have the music off. So you can see that with the V.Tech that it has a little bit more options with the books. You can kind of see with the Fisher-Price IXL that it reads to you. You can see some animation happening here.
If we didn't have the sound off, it would read the text for you word for word.
So let's just try watching the story. So you can see, if we can zoom in on the V.Tech, there's a lot more animation that happens with the V.Tech books versus some of the animation that's happening with the Fisher-Price IXL. You can see here that there's really not a whole lot of animation versus this. You can see that when the pages turn, they're both animated page turns. So it feels like a novel. But yeah, I mean, it's so far, when we've played around with these devices extensively, and here is sort of our take on it. They're both pretty well the same as far as interactive content and things like that. You can see on the V.Tech that it does have a port to plug it into your computer, so you can load media on here as well. The cables. You can see one of the advantages that the V.Tech has is that it has a full keyboard, whereas the Fisher-Price doesn't have a keyboard at all. It also has a lot more button options here, as far as exiting, replaying, pausing, bookmarking, finding help, scrolling back and forth. The speaker on the Fisher-Price IXL is larger, so it is a bit of a louder device.
And it is on the front. So you do, sorry, they are both on the front, so you do get kind of, while you're watching the video, you do get the sound coming at you, whereas some of the devices have them on the back, which is just kind of muffled when you're reading.
Right. What I really like about both of these e-readers is that, or interactive learning devices as the companies build them, is that they're both really affordable. They're both anywhere between $40 and $75. The games for the V.Tech are around $25, whereas the games for the Fisher-Price are about $28. They both have extensive libraries, usually about a minimum of about 8 games that you have. If you were to ask us what is the better investment for your money, I would probably go with the V.Tech. It has certainly more options. It even has brightness settings, and that's something that the Fisher-Price doesn't have. So for nighttime reading versus daytime reading, the full keyboard, being able to have your backpack to earn achievements, it is a really nice selling point to it. And that's something that the Fisher-Price one doesn't have. The Fisher-Price one's more of a basic device. You can draw and create art and things like that. And the art aspects of the Fisher-Price are really nice. And one of the other nice things about the Fisher-Price one is that it does go between different modes. So you can see that it is a square, so you could go between portrait and landscape mode. And the art functions are pretty nice. It certainly has better art functions on the Fisher-Price IXL than it does have on the V.Tech V-Reader. So we would say that if your kid is more artistically inclined, I would say go with the Fisher-Price IXL because it does have a lot of more built-in art functions. If your kid is more into reading and, you know, learning how to type on a screen like this, the V.Tech V-Reader wins out. One of the functions we really like about the Fisher-Price one is being able to draw along, and that's something that the V.Tech doesn't have. So it's a matter of size and scale. It does have a hard case that it comes with, whereas the Fisher-Price is a little bit more bulkier when it's closed. So they can both go through a lot of heck and keep on ticking. In the end, we like the V.Tech V-Reader a little bit better. It has overall more functionality. The games have a lot more options when they come with it. And it does have more settings, more brightness, more different options for your kids to be immersed in. So despite the fact that they're both the same price, we'd probably recommend to go with the V.Tech V-Reader. We've played around with these a lot, so this is the advice that we're giving. Fisher-Price is a long-standing brand, so they have a lot of track record, but we find that just the V-Reader has more bang for your buck. So we hope you've enjoyed this comparison video on the V.Tech V-Reader and the Fisher-Price IXL. For Good E-Reader, this is Marcus.
This is Nick.
Everybody take care.